We're live.
Welcome, everyone, to episode 8 of season 3 of the WorldWideWednesday podcast.
I'm your host, Sovereign.
And I'm Shiny.
And excuse the long pause, but
COVID.
Life happened.
Mainly COVID. Not us this time, but family that live by us, therefore making it difficult.
Yeah.
And for the late time, that is because work made it so that we start late. But anyways, we're finally back. And dear God, we got a lot to talk about this time around. We got D23, the Nintendo Direct. We got the death of the Queen. We got the MAGA cult like imploding, shitting, pissing, crying over Dark Brandon. We got R. Kelly went to prison. QAnon family murdered. So much has happened since we were gone.
Yeah.
So, let's just get right into the Marvel stuff, and I want to just start with D23, to be honest.
Yeah, let's get that out of the way.
So, D23, which was the Disney Expo that happens every year, finally returned. Well, yeah, we did D23 last year.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, we didn't. The podcast didn't exist last year.
Then what did we cover?
We covered Disney Plus Day.
What it was.
Yes, but this year Disney Plus Day and D23 fell on the same.
That's why. Okay.
Yeah. So anyways.
Let's go ahead and get the very disappointing news out of the way first. But since I'm going to take charge of the narrative here, I'm going to make sure that you have the most bittersweet victory of them all.
So
Werewolf by Night got confirmed.
Yes! I have been saying this for the longest time. I knew it was a real project. I knew it was going to come out this year. I knew it was going to be the Halloween special. Finally was announced at D23.
So let's get into it. So there's a group of people. And among their ranks, there's a werewolf. So in a way,
I hate you, because that's just not even the case.
It's just like Among Us.
I hate you so much.
I am going to make this the most bittersweet victory for you. I will not let you enjoy this.
Fine.
You get to have your Among Us show.
Okay, so so the real story of this show is basically there's a meeting of a bunch of monsters who are, I guess, hunting down a monster. So while many people will probably believe it is the titular Werewolf by Night, in my opinion, I don't think it is.
Because other characters have been revealed for the special, including Man-Thing.
And I think that's who they're hunting. I think they're actually hunting Man-Thing, and that the Werewolf by Night is one of the hunters.
Yeah. That's
what I think it is. I think our main character is one of the hunters who is hunting the monster, which is going to be Man-Thing.
Yeah.
From what I've heard, this special will be dealing with the Bloodstone family line, which is an important family line within Marvel when it comes to the, I don't want to say magical, supernatural side of things. Like Elsa Bloodstone is like a member of MI13. Like, you know that section of Marvel with Blade and Morbius and all of them? That side, that's where the Bloodstones are. And that's where this side of Marvel is going to be introduced through Werewolf by Night.
Yeah.
So
that got announced, and
it's entirely in black and white, like the rumor said it was going to be.
And it still actually looks pretty decent.
Yeah, I really like the very cheesy aesthetic they did when they did the cutaways. Like, kind of reminded me of really bad 1930s horror movies like Frankenstein.
Yeah.
I really appreciate that they are committing to the aesthetic.
Yeah.
Also, I believe this is being produced by Michael Giacchino, or the composer. The one who normally composes stuff for Marvel. He's actually directing this and producing this.
Okay.
So that should be really interesting.
Yeah. Another big thing. This one actually is pretty exciting. Secret Invasion.
Yes.
We finally got a trailer for it, and
it actually made me excited for the show, because I kind of wasn't really all that for Secret Invasion, just because it was a show instead of a movie. Instead of an event movie at that. And, we didn't know much about it.
And also, like, let's face it, like, Secret Invasion is it's a big Marvel event.
Yeah.
But it's gonna get the same treatment as Civil War. That's what irks me a bit.
Yeah, Civil
Because
War would be.
let's face it, Civil War was not given like the weight and gravitas that is like represented in the comics iteration of the storyline.
I feel like Civil War 2 is probably going to be given the gravitas of Civil War 1 if it's ever adapted.
Ugh, please don't adapt.
Well, see, I said if they adapt it, but I don't think they're going to pull the Ulysses bullshit. Please don't. Don't do that. But anyways.
I mean, my bigger problem was with the characters making like god awful decisions.
Oh, yeah.
Like, at least Civil War 1 was like, oh, we have a stance, and meanwhile Civil War 2 is like, oh yeah, both leaders of each faction are making awful decisions, and it's negatively impacting everyone. Oh, and Hydra's infiltrated for some reason.
And it's also like, have none of you people seen Minority Report in your life? Tom Cruise already told us this doesn't work. Anyways, we're getting a bit off topic. I'm actually excited for Secret Invasion this time around after seeing the trailer, because it really feels like we're going to get a paranoid thriller out of it. And, of course, Nick Fury being the most paranoid character in all of Marvel, headlining a show about paranoia, is going to be amazing.
Yeah. And we don't really see him headline anything. Like he got Captain Marvel. That's about it.
I wouldn't say he was headlining. Not in the slightest.
No, the closest he's ever gotten.
Yeah. So this will be really good. Obviously, we're going to be seeing Talos probably as the secondary protagonist, and Maria Hill probably as our tertiary protagonist.
Yeah.
With Soren probably being the fourth. You know how sometimes there's like a group of 4, but only like 2 really get focused, but the other 2 are more than like side characters?
Yeah.
I feel like it's going to go Nick Fury's main character with Talos secondary, Maria Hill third, and Soren, Talos' wife, going to be like that. And maybe we'll see an appearance from their daughter, who I think we last saw in WandaVision in the post-credit scene.
Yeah. Okay.
Roadie's going to be in it.
Oh yeah, isn't Secret Invasion and Armor Wars actually going to be linked together in like a connected storyline?
Yes, that's what I heard. And so in the trailer, as well as details from the extended look that actual people at D23 got to see, Roadie has a security detail, which leads me to believe that he's now in politics. Reason being is this. So, Roadie, beforehand, was just a military guy. They don't get they don't get security details like that unless he's high up in the military, and last time we checked he wasn't.
Yeah.
Now he does. I think he's in politics. Specifically, I think he's either taken over for Thunderbolt Ross, or he's now... So you know how the Department of Damage Control is a thing?
Yeah.
But notice how it's called Department of Damage Control instead of agency?
Oh, so you think it's an actual division of the government?
I think it's a cabinet level. Because think about it. You have Department of Defense,
Department of Justice,
Department of Homeland Security, Department of Agriculture. You see what I'm getting at?
Yeah.
I think Roadie is the Secretary of Damage Control. And he's in the cabinet of the new president, who we know is going to show up in the show because we see the presidential motorcade getting bombed towards the end of the trailer. I think Roadie is actually in a cabinet level position as the new head of damage control. Especially because in the extended look that we got at D23, it is confirmed that Roadie has known about the Skrull invasion since Iron Man 2.
Huh.
He says that he was brought onto a top secret project 15 years ago by the United States military intelligence because they figured out about the Skrull invasion, and he's known about it since. And that's what the conversation between him and Nick Fury is about. the fact that Roadie knows about the invasion, because Nick Fury believes that someone within Rhodey's security detail is a Skrull.
We'll just have to wait and see, because that seems like a very ambitious jump.
It is, especially because the longest standing theory was that Rhodey or Sharon Carter have been Skrulls the entire time. Of all the major characters that we've gotten that could be a Skrull, Rhodey's always been the top of the list. And with the fact that Armor Wars is heavily tied into this, and the fact that we now know that Rhodey supposedly has known about the Skrull invasion since the events of Iron Man 2.
Sharon I can buy.
Sharon. Rhodey, I don't know if I can buy Rhodey's a Skrull, but he definitely... There's something going on between Rhodey and the Skrulls.
Because Sharon's been out of the picture for God knows how long.
Yeah, and it's very easy.
It's very easy to
There was a very easy time where you could kidnap Sharon and replace her, which would be during the downfall of S.H.I.E.L.D. When all of former S.H.I.E.L.D. operatives had to go underground, it was very easy for Skrulls to probably pick them off. Rhodey, however, I'd have to wonder when they could have gotten him, if he is a Skrull.
Yeah, and again, we don't know.
You don't know. But also it's interesting that it seems that the reason he was brought on was because he gave the government the Iron Man armor. Because remember, he said he was brought on 15 years ago. In universe, 15 years ago was Iron Man 2. 2025, Iron Man 2 took place in... Wait, Iron Man 2 took... Wait.
It was 2010, 2011 almost.
Yeah, 2010, 2011. Iron Man 2 technically takes place within 2012, but, like, he says around 15 years ago.
I mean, Phase 4 has been pretty flimsy with the dates.
Yeah,
so.
Anyways. Iron Man 2. He gives the War Machine armor to the government.
Yeah.
I think that's what got him in with military intelligence to find out about the Skrull invasion.
Yeah, I can see it.
Yeah. Also, what do you think of the theory that has now been posited that Nick Fury has not been seen since his last appearance in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., and that every subsequent appearance we've seen of him was actually Talos? We know Far From Home was Talos, but I'm talking Age of Ultron. That was Talos. And that we actually last saw him was in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. when he gives Coulson the black box.
No, that's a big stretch.
The reason this theory is around is for two reasons. One, sandwich. It's the sandwich in Age of Ultron. You know what I'm talking about.
No.
So in Captain Marvel, when Carol and Nick are talking about how to distinguish whether they're Skrulls or not, Nick Fury says he cannot eat sandwiches sliced diagonally. It freaks him out. He will never eat a sandwich that way. In Age of Ultron, when Laura gives him a sandwich, it is sliced diagonally. Some people have taken this to mean that Marvel, when creating the scene in Captain Marvel, decided to go back to previous films and look for a small, minute detail that they could reasonably work into a twist for a future project when making Captain Marvel. And so the theory is that Marvel went to Age of Ultron, was like, hey, maybe we could use that scene and we'll make it a thing in Captain Marvel. So then when we do it in a later storyline, it'll just be like, hey, look how smart we are, type of shit. A lot of authors do this a lot. Like Oda for One Piece will do things where he'll like look back at stuff he did in previous arcs and then like find a way to tie it into a new arc. That's how the theory runs. Not that Marvel has planned it all along, but that by Captain Marvel they had an idea and they were like, let's go back at all Nick Fury scenes and see if we can tie some to make it clues that he was a Skrull.
Yeah, no, I can see that. I can see it. It's just, it's going to require a lot of work in the background.
Yeah. No, but mind you, the theory isn't to say that this is malicious. but it's more that Talos and Nick Fury, so no one truly knows where Nick Fury is and what he's doing.
Okay.
That's what the theory is. It's not malicious.
No, I understand.
It's more like, especially because in the comics, Nick Fury uses a fuck ton of life model decoys. Like, whenever someone thinks they've killed Nick Fury, it's just a life model decoy. And since life model decoys have only been covered in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and never brought up in the movies, this is the theory that would give Nick Fury that paranoid character trait of, he's there, but is he there? Type thing.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So I'm actually excited for Secret Invasion. I'm actually really excited because it looks kind of, I want it to be I want to feel paranoid when I watch this show.
Yeah, what else came out?
So there was the Marvels trailer shown off there, which shows that not only did Carol and Kamala trade places, but also Monica traded places. So what happened is that Carol went to Kamala's room. Kamala is actually at the sword base that we saw back in Far From Home in the post-credit scene, doing a spacewalk with Nick Fury, and Monica was sent to a Kree base.
Huh.
And that the movie is them, like, something has happened, and the three of them are now into each other's spots. So there's like a scene of like Brie Larson like standing next to Kamala's parents, and they're like, "What have you done to our daughter?" And then Kamala is literally like standing on this on the sword station. She's like, "Are you Nick Fury? Can I join the Avengers?" And then you have Monica standing there surrounded by Kree, and they're like, "Who are you?"
Which
and
thankfully shoots down my fear that it was just going to put Kamala in like the damsel of distress role, which thank God.
It doesn't seem like she's going to be in the damsel of distress role. It seems that they're just zipping all over the place. And also,
if anything, like, because I haven't seen the trailer yet, so
it's not out.
Oh, it's not out.
This is just a description we got from people that were there.
Oh,
it was
okay.
only shown to people at D23.
So, if anything, Monica might have that role, but that's a big if.
I don't think she's going to have the damsel, just because she's way too competent. Like,
exactly.
she could probably take on some Kree soldiers.
Yeah, thankfully, it's not with Kamala.
Yeah, Kamala's just chilling with Nick Fury, who's just like, how the hell did she get here? Which also this is also it's stated that the Marvels is going to take place after Secret Invasion, and so that will be Nick Fury's next appearance post Secret Invasion will be the Marvels. So we also
it's actually appropriate to bring him back because he's got to be in both Captain Marvel movies.
Yeah, of course he had to be in it. So I mean, and we've known he was going to be in the movie because he's been posting about him shooting the film on his Instagram. So that he was going to be in the movie. What else came out? So Loki season 2 had some news. They hired I forgot who. It's a Korean actor. I believe they were in Everything Everywhere All at Once. I forgot who it was, but they're going to be in Loki season 2.
I mean, that was a spectacular movie, so
apparently they're going to be playing a member of the TVA.
Okay.
Kang's TVA.
Honestly, that's probably pretty true.
I like that. And he says he'll give back Cassie if Scott does the heist. Which, that is like the typical heist plotline. Man that's out of the game has to do it one last time, or else everything in his personal life goes to shit. Which I think is perfectly fine and appropriate for Scott as a reformed heist man doing. I think this is great. And I'm actually more excited for this film now, knowing it's going to be a heist film.
Especially considering, like, let's face it, Ant-Man and the Wasp was not... It was one of the movies of all time.
Yep.
Yeah.
But this one seems more and more hype. Apparently Jonathan Majors looks amazing in this movie, and I really want to see. I do not know if it was confirmed whether this takes place before or after Loki season 2.
Oh, okay.
Because we do not know we don't know which Kang this is.
It kind of almost...
It's not the same. All we know is that there's not necessarily the Kang that we see at the end of Loki season 1.
Oh, it can't be.
Not He Who Remains. I mean the statue. It's not that statue of Kang. This is going to be a different Kang.
There's got to be, like... We need to see at least 3 or 4 versions of him, let's be honest here.
Yeah, I believe what they're really building up to is that in the Kang Dynasty, you're going to be, like, doing, like, the thing where, like, one Kang dies, but then another Kang from a different universe shows up and is like, you really can't kill me. I'm everywhere. I think that's what they're setting up for the Kang Dynasty. So there's that. And Ant-Man, that sounds pretty hype. A heist film for Ant-Man seems really good.
And you can easily twist it to be like, what's it called? Like, how... I just had a thought in my head. You could instantly be like, oh, he does the heist. He instantly realizes that if he grabs this one thing, it means doom to the multiverse, and so he goes against Kang, and that's the third act finale.
Well,
and then they try to kill him, and then...
If the leaks are true, that's not happening. Because MODOK is in the movie. And we talked about MODOK last time, right?
Yeah.
And how he's being played by the actor that played Darren Cross.
Yeah.
So, yeah, MODOK's in this movie. I've seen some concept art. I like it. I just feel bad for VFX artists because the CGI on MODOK is going to be hell for them.
Oh god,
and I feel so bad.
The quantum realm in general.
I feel so bad for the Marvel VFX artists for this movie. This movie is going to be very CGI heavy, and I feel very sorry for them. I hope them the best. This movie is looking to be more exciting than I thought it would be, to be honest. So I'm glad for that. What was another thing that was announced? Let me just see what else I missed on the Marvel side. I know we have Captain America New World Order, which I'm personally really hyped for.
Yeah, I think most that was revealed was just a new logo, right?
No, was there a new logo? I know there was a new logo. I don't think there was a trailer that was shown off.
Yeah.
But we do know some things. So we know that, obviously, Sam Wilson, Captain America, is going to be in it. Isaiah Bradley is returning. We are also going to get an Israeli superhero, which has started a bit of controversy because in the comics, this superhero is, well, a Mossad agent. And for those who are unaware, Mossad is the Israeli CIA. And, well, you know, if you think the American, they're playing Ruth Bat-Seraph, or Sabra, that's the name of the character. Yeah, so if you know anything about Mossad and the CIA, and it basically amounts to, yeah, this person's probably killed a bunch of Palestinian children and probably participates in the ongoing genocide taking place in Palestine. And so it's been a bit controversial because, now, I do want to preface this. Sabra in the comics does start as a Mossad agent. However, by the end of his... Because in the comics, I believe Sabra is a he. In the movie, it's going to be a she. Sabra is very anti-Zionist by the end. Completely denounces the IDF, completely denounces Mossad, and denounces Israel as a whole, and becomes a very anti-Zionist character. It's one of the only openly anti-Zionist Jewish characters in Marvel Comics. So, I do wonder how they're going to tie that in. Because it is titled New World Order.
Yeah.
Which... By the way, this was also supposed to be considered a paranoid thriller as well. And so, with a title, New World Order, with a black man headlining it, and now, you know, a Mossad agent superhero, this movie's going more so than most Marvel movies are typically political, because everything's political. But this is going to be an overtly, like, intentionally political movie.
Yeah.
And I'm excited for it. I want to see the politics of this movie. I want to know where it will stand. Obviously, I know, first and foremost, it's going to be neoliberal as fuck. It's Marvel we're talking about, so obviously neoliberalism will trump all. But I'm still very interested in seeing the themes within neoliberalism, like the themes of racial identity and Zionism and whatever else could come from it. Because the other two characters that we know will show up is Joaquin Torres playing the new Falcon, because he's Falcon in the comics, and also, surprisingly, the leader. Now, for those of you who are wondering, who the fuck is the leader?
We've seen him before. He was in The Incredible Hulk.
Yes, so if you flash all the way back to, what was it, 2009?
Was it 2009 or 2007?
It came out after Iron Man.
Okay, so maybe 2009.
Around the 2009-2010, The Incredible Hulk came out with Edward Norton. And yes, that movie is still MCU canon. And so there was a plot line at the end of it, which was basically that the Dr. Samuel Stearns, the one who got Bruce's blood and then injected it into Emil Blonsky to turn him into Abomination, was injured. And when he was injured, Bruce's gamma irradiated blood started pouring onto his open wound. And you started to see his head morph. Now, with She-Hulk coming out, and we see how her accident was caused by a similar thing, and now seeing the return of Blonsky, I guess Marvel has now decided that the leader shall now make his triumphant return to the MCU. And personally, I am glad that they're doing this now that the Hulks are, like, in the forefront of Marvel mythology right now. I think this is good. I think this will be good.
One other piece of news that we got is we've got a more definitive look at what the Thunderbolts team will be. So we'll be having Taskmaster, Ghost, Winter Soldier, Black Widow. Who am I missing?
It's Taskmaster, Ghost, Winter Soldier, Black Widow,
Red Guardian,
and US Agent, and of course, Val.
Yeah.
Now, a lot of people were saying that, oh, I'm surprised Abomination's not on the team. Well, given what we have from She-Hulk, which we'll get to, yeah, it kind of makes sense Abomination's not going to be on the team.
Also, it's supposed to be a covert team.
Yeah!
Doing infiltration missions.
Yeah, and well, other people like, where's Zemo? Zemo's usually...
Oh yeah, Zemo should be there too.
Yes, and while Zemo has not been shown, the trades have said that Daniel Bruhl may still have a part in this movie. So Zemo may still be there, because this is... Outside of the Masters of Evil, which was his first team, the Thunderbolts is like his team. Yeah. Like, this is like his second version of the Masters of Evil. So it's surprising he's not there. I've seen a lot of complaints that there's a lack of variety in terms of power set, because outside of Ghost, everyone else is, just... I mean, even Ghost is a shield an ex-shield assassin, but like everyone is just kind of like, punches and kicks with varying levels of super strength.
You could be even more cynical and say that most of them are failed experiments gone wrong.
Would you say that Yelena's a failed experiment?
With the exception of Yelena, of course.
Yeah, I was about to... Would you say Bucky's a failed experiment? He was successful for the better part of... for the better part of a century.
True. Maybe just experimented on.
I would say they're experimented on, because I was going to say Yelena wasn't failure, Red Guardian wasn't a failure, and Bucky wasn't a failure. Yeah. Even Taskmaster wasn't a failure.
Maybe more in the sense of, like, the experiments...
It's more like they're all pawns.
I would even say, like, more like the experiments have been put onto them to detrimentally, like, traumatize them.
Yeah.
That's probably more appropriate.
Yeah. Also, we got some sort of confirmation about one of the members of the Thunderbolt being on the LGBT community, being that Yelena is actually on the asexual spectrum.
I can see it.
which I'm actually all for, especially if it looks like she's going to be one of the leads of this movie. I am so thankful we're not going to get a relationship plot in this movie. Like, thank God! I mean, obviously, it's not to say that asexual people can't be in relationships. They obviously can.
Asexual doesn't mean aromantic.
Yes, and she only said on the asexual spectrum. She did not clarify whether she was aromantic or not. But, since this is Disney and Marvel we're talking about, if the character is asexual, you know they're just going to completely forego any type of relationships. This is Disney we're talking about.
And don't think Ghost or Taskmaster have the ability to be in stable relationships at the moment.
Ghost, stable. How was she alive?
She was... See, that's the thing. She was probably blipped.
She had to have been blipped too, because I'm like, yeah, at the end of Ant-Man and the Wasp, they literally were going to the quantum realm to save her life, and then, like, Scott got trapped there for 5 years and everyone else is dead. So it's kind of like, so did Ghost die? Or did she die?
Yeah, no, she had to have been blipped, because let's be honest here, without that stuff, she would have been gone.
Yeah, I'm hoping that she just died, and I say in quotation marks because she was blipped. She came back, and thankfully, after New York, Battle of New York 2, Electric Boogaloo, the Pims and the Van Dynes and Scott were able to get to Ghost and be like, oh, by the way, sorry, it's been 5 years, but here's your cure to your condition that was going to kill you. But yeah, I'm trying to think if there was, yeah,
like, as far as like the team, who would be like,
who would be the leader?
Not who would be the leader, because who would be in U.S. government custody? Because
none. Oh, it's depending on whether you believe Val works for the U.S. government.
Okay.
Depending on if you believe Val works for the U.S. government, then Yelena and John Walker. Oh, and Bucky. Well, we actually know definitively Bucky is, because not only does Bucky still maintain his military rank of sergeant, as evidenced by the fact in Falcon and the Winter Soldier, during the finale, he was able to go to the terrorist scene in New York City, and he was welcomed by the military as Sergeant Barnes. And also because, you know, he helped find that Hydra senator.
Yeah.
So we know he works for the U.S. government. Yelena or John, maybe, depending on if you believe Val works for the U.S. government. Ghost, Red Guardian, and Taskmaster. We know Taskmaster and Red Guardian are a package deal because they left together at the end of Black Widow.
Yeah.
Ghost used to be a part of S.H.I.E.L.D. when S.H.I.E.L.D. was still on good terms with the United States.
Oh god, I just remembered Red Guardian has Karl Marx tattooed on his knuckles.
I fucking love it.
I
fucking love it. I love it. Based. We love a based king.
An abusive one, for sure. Not the best role model, not the best father. But we can ignore all that.
Yeah.
But honestly, I think the team up would work, because
I think the team will be interesting.
Because obviously, like, Red Guardian will serve as the comedic, like,
Red Guardian. I believe Red Guardian is going to be the comedic guy, with Yelena being his straight man, with John being incidentally funny in the sense that he's by the books. Meanwhile, you'll have Bucky, who clearly just doesn't give a shit. You're gonna have Taskmaster, who is just silent and is just gonna be like the silent assassin that does all the cool shit. And then you're gonna have Ghost, who's gonna be like a bit snarky.
Yeah.
And then there's Val, who is going to be Amanda Waller.
Yeah.
Which, if she plays... if Julia Louis-Dreyfus plays Val, like how Amanda Waller is played in the Suicide Squad movies, I will love it. I will love it. The other thing that was shown off at D23 was that, oh yeah, so Charlie Cox confirmed he's only going to be in,
one episode of
She-Hulk. We also got extended look at the Wakanda Forever. And so with that, it's basically Queen Ramonda is at the UN. and she is talking about how the Western world has been posturing against Wakanda. And so basically, basically the Western world is kind of like, why is Vibranium involved in all of these like shenanigans, like Ultron and shit? And like Queen Ramonda basically calls out the fact that the United States military ran terrorist operations against Wakandans to steal vibranium. And so while she's making the accusations, it actually cuts to a scene of a bunch of Wakandan scientists working in a lab, and then I believe it's the United States Marine Corps breaks through. And they start fighting, but then it turns out some of the scientists are Dora Milaje in disguise. And so the two groups start fighting, while Ramonda talks about how the Westerners, she doesn't say the Westerners, I'm just saying this, talks about how they're just, for lack of a better term, they're just cry-bullying. Like, they're attacking Wakanda, and Wakanda's fighting back, and they're not getting rolled over like every other African country. Mind you, I'm paraphrasing this. She's not saying this. I'm just paraphrasing right now. And the scene ends with Ramona obviously saying the iconic scene, "All of my family is dead." And she's, like, very powerful. And the scene ends with the Dora Milaje bringing in the captured U.S. soldiers, meaning that it wasn't like a simultaneous, she's giving this speech while the attack's happening. The attack happened beforehand. The Dora Milaje were able to defeat and disarm the soldiers, capture them, and then haul them in front of the UN.
Wow. So ultimately we still have the biggest question, which is who's going to lead this movie?
Yeah. So far, the trailers have, at least any fully audio trailers, put Queen Ramonda as kind of the lead, which I mean, Angela Bassett is a phenomenal actress, and she could carry a movie if she wanted to.
Yeah, but an MCU role based on like what character's been established for her doesn't lead to leading a whole MCU film.
Yeah, especially because, like, while we know, thanks to What If, that Queen Ramonda is pretty much the leader of the Dora Milaje and is fully capable of going to war, it doesn't seem like live action Ramonda can do that because, one, Angela Bassett is, she's an older woman. Mind you, there are male actors who are around her age, but she clearly has not put in the physical training that her other peers have done. So I doubt that she's going to be the lead. She may be a spiritual lead in the sense that her, like, character will be, like, the heart of the plot.
Yeah, because the easiest answers to go to are, like, Lupita Nyong'o, Letitia Wright, which I hope is not the case.
And Winston Duke.
Yeah.
Playing Nakia, Shuri, and M'Baku.
Oh, okay.
And then obviously there's, I cannot pronounce her name, but we all know her. The actress that plays Okoye, she also plays Michonne in The Walking Dead.
Yeah. Who was it that passed up on the role to perform in Nope? Because I believe it was either Wakanda Forever or Nope, and they chose Nope. You know who I'm talking about.
Keke Palmer?
No.
Daniel Kaluuya?
I think so, yeah.
Well, he also said the reason why he chose it was just because Wakabi's story didn't necessarily mesh with what Ryan Coogler had going on for Wakanda Forever, which, given all that we know of the movie so far, I agree. Wakabi, I don't think should play a role, and I'm glad Daniel Kaluuya decided to do Nope instead, because he was great in that movie.
I mean, yeah.
He was good in Black Panther, and he was great in Nope. But I do agree with him that Wakabi's character wouldn't mesh with what Black Panther Wakanda Forever is kind of setting up.
Yeah.
It doesn't seem like it.
I mean...
Especially with the fact that, Claw is dead, and now T'Challa's dead. The two anchors to his character arcs are kind of gone. Kind of makes sense to just kind of leave him out of this movie.
Yeah, and it's a shame, too, because he's a good actor, but ultimately he did choose to perform in an amazing movie, so...
Yeah. I mean, let's be honest here, like... Let's not hate on Daniel Kaluuya, like... Man clearly chose a better film. I believe that Nope will come out to be a better film than Black Panther, just because I just think Nope is a good movie as an overall good movie. While Wakanda Forever, I could see potentially being just a good Marvel movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. Other things we found out is we have Ironheart footage, which shows the Hood, played by Anthony Ramos, and there's like a scene of him fighting Ironheart, so that's going to be interesting. The main thing is that he uses dark magic, the same type of magic that Agatha used in WandaVision, leading some people to believe that while obviously Ironheart is definitely going to tie into Armor Wars, but that Ironheart may also tie into Agatha Coven of Chaos.
Yeah.
Because with the introduction of other characters using dark magic, that's actually really interesting.
It's honestly, like, super surprising that everybody loved her character so much in WandaVision that she's getting her own show.
Yeah. I mean,
she objectively was an amazing part of the show.
Yeah.
It's just a shame that she had to be attached.
She was the best newcomer.
Yeah. It's a shame she had to be attached to one of the worst finales of the show, Disney Plus shows so far.
Yeah, and given probably one of the worst fates. For proportional to what a character actually did proportional to what a villain has done, she got a terrible fate. Like, Wanda did everything wrong. All Agatha did was just fuck around. So there's that. The actor that's going to be playing, that's going to be in Loki 2 is Ke-Hu Kwan. I didn't see Everything Everywhere All at Once, so I do not know. But
are they male or female? Because then I would be okay. So then I know who they're talking about. Okay.
Yeah. So.
Is that all the news from D23?
No, there's more. Also, do you know what else is in?
What?
Shortstop from Indiana Jones 2. He was the Asian kid.
Oh, please don't remind me of Indiana Jones 2, please.
That movie was funny! It was
in the 90s, sure.
Anyways, he was shortstop in Indiana Jones 2.
Yeah, no thank you.
Racist caricatures aside, I'm still glad he loves acting, and he's gonna be in this show.
Yeah, that's what made me uncomfortable.
Yes, he was a very racist caricature, but yeah. But I mean, by child actor standards, he still did pretty good in the movie.
Fair enough.
Yeah. Anyways, so that's who he is. We also have Matt Shakman is confirmed to be the director of Fantastic Four. I am not familiar with any of his work, so I'm not 100% sure.
Yeah, have you... What side are you on? Because people really want the actor from Multiverse of Madness to portray Mr. Fantastic again, and there's no clue as to whether or not if you will. What is your opinion on that?
So... I forgot if this was a leak or something that was confirmed, but the idea of multiversal variants that look similar or different is entirely dependent on, like, how there's something about, like, their characters that will, like, make them look similar across the board. So, for example, like, all Doctor Strange that we've seen so far look like Benedict Cumberbatch Doctor Strange. Yeah. Meanwhile, with Lokis, you do have some Lokis that look like Tom Hiddleston, but other Lokis are completely different. Or the Spider-Mans, they look different. I don't know if I think a variant of Reed Richards should be on the Strange side or the Spider-Man side of things. I lean more towards the Spider-Man side of things, just because if we ever get the Council of Reeds, and the Maker, more importantly, I would like them to be played by different characters.
Yeah, I can see that.
So I would want there to be a new person playing as Reed Richards.
Yeah.
As much as John Krasinski was in the role, and he did good for what he had, he wasn't in much, but he was good in what he had, and I wouldn't mind seeing him. I think it would be better to have a different one, just because I have a feeling that the Fantastic Four in this movie might look a bit younger, comparatively.
Okay.
Mind you, it wouldn't make much sense timeline-wise, because presumably 838 is at the exact same point in time as 616.
Hmm.
But I just think that they may want someone that looks a bit younger to play Reed Richards.
Yeah, yeah.
So we have that. Oh yeah, so Kevin Feige said that X-Men movie's not happening for a very long time, which I'm fine with. Oh, by the way, the Mossad agent in New World Order is a mutant.
Oh. Yeah, they're leaving tons of hints about mutants here and there. Like, I mean, they left a massive hint in Miss Marvel.
Yeah.
But to not address it for a while, that's kind of weird.
I think it's mainly because they want to bring the mutants in, like, subtly. Not subtly, but, like... Because I think the biggest thing is that I feel like people conflate X-Men and mutants together, which isn't necessarily accurate.
That is true.
There are the X-Men, the superhero team, that work with the Xavier Institute for Gifted Youngsters. But they are not the only mutants out there. There's obviously the Brotherhood of Evil Mutants by Magneto. There's the Hellfire Club. There's the country of Krakoa that splits off from the X-Men. And then there's just mutants out there. I mean, Reed Richards' kid, Nathaniel, is a mutant. But he's not part of the X-Men. So, also the guy that was in an arm wrestling match with Red Guardian in the prison back in Black Widow?
Yeah.
Well, that's Ursa Major, who's also a mutant, but has nothing to do with the X-Men in terms of being a member of the team. So I think what Kevin Feige really means is that the team, the X-Men, will not have a movie.
Okay.
But we will see mutants throughout the phases, which I feel is more appropriate.
So it'll be more gradual, unlike Inhumans, which all started spawning at once.
Yes. It'll be that we'll see more of them as time goes on.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So there was some Echo footage that came out, and the main thing is that it shows from the iconic panel of Wilson Fisk with his fingers crossed with two giant bandages over his eyes, confirming that Echo obviously didn't kill him.
What a surprise! Who could have seen that coming?
Yeah.
We if anybody watches anything, you know that a pan shot upward from someone getting shot means that they lived.
Yeah. So yeah, the other thing that it shows is that she's also going to have she's also going to unlock her superpowers, because in the comics for a while she was kind of like Daredevil, a character with disabilities but extremely good at martial arts. But as she progressed, she has superpowers. At one point, she was the host of the Phoenix Force.
Yikes.
So now I don't think they're going to go with Echo Phoenix, but they seem to be exploring the fact that she will develop superpowers, and that will tie mainly into her indigenous heritage. However, I have heard it described that it's not that because she's indigenous, she gets powers, but more that her indigenous culture helps her understand the nature of her powers.
Yeah, I can understand why people would have that first assumption, but of course, that's not appropriate at all. It would have to be the latter.
I think that's what they're going for, from what I've heard. And to be honest, I believe Alakwa Cox would never let them be like, oh, you're secretly, because you're from this secret Native American tribe, you have access to all these special powers. Oh, it's basically magical Negroes, but not black people. You've heard of the trope of the magical Negroes, right?
Just because you're of an ethnic minority, all of a sudden you know a whole bunch of stuff about some mumbo jumbo. I'm aware with the trope, yes.
Yup. So I don't think they're doing that. I think it's more that her culture will give her an aspect of an aspect that will give her perspective onto how to approach her powers.
Yeah.
Okay. What was the let's see. For Loki. So I actually don't know the preview footage for this one. This was the only one I didn't know of. So it's Loki back at the TVA. He's reading a manual. Loki starts glitching because he's not supposed to be there. And there's plenty more glitch. Loki fights down a hallway. He chisels away at the walls of the TVA and reveals the big brass face of Kang the Conqueror. In another room, he encounters Kehu Kwan, who will be playing a TVA archivist. Elsewhere, we get glimpses of an old Hollywood premiere and Sylvie listening to records in a movie shop. To keep things fun and interesting, Loki and Mobius get fun costumes. They change into vintage tuxedos. And the dialogue ends with Loki saying, "I don't want you to think I'm the bad guy," and all this, to which Mobius tries to have his back, replying saying, "Who says you were?" So, yeah. This is the actor.
Oh, yeah, him.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. He was really good in that movie.
Mm-hmm. So, there's that. And...
Because...
yeah.
So he actually will have experience with the multiverse, because Everything Everywhere All at Once was a multiverse flick, and pretty much his character was like, oh, I'm a time traveler who came into my alternate self to let you know you have the abilities to harness the multiverse in your hands. Have fun. That was pretty much his role.
Fun.
So he has experience with these kinds of roles.
Yes. So, excuse me. So he will be in it there. So Charlie Cox talked about the fact that Daredevil Born Again is not going to be Daredevil Season 4. And now some people have taken this to mean, oh, Netflix shows confirmed non-canon. But no, I think what he actually means is to say that don't expect this to be just another season of Daredevil. It's the same characters, but it's a different show with a different vibe and a different feel.
Yeah. I mean, it's probably not gonna... So, probably what people want is like, oh, a continuation of the storyline from 8 years ago. Yeah. Which is not realistic.
Yeah. In Ironheart, there's a scene of... Riri Williams saying, "I want to build something like him, but better," which is pretty emblematic of what Tony Stark has always wanted out of his successors, which is that he wants his successors to be better than him. We know that for a fact, considering his big lecture to Spider-Man at the midpoint of Homecoming, when Spider-Man nearly kills all those people on the Staten Island ferry, where he's so pissed at Peter, not because Peter is like screwing up, but more so that Peter is becoming like him and not better than him.
Yeah.
And it seems that Riri Williams will be embodying that, considering that she wants to be a better Iron Man. And once this becomes public, the right-wing chuds will be all over that scene.
Yeah. So I think we can move off of D23, because at this point we're just touching on like small, minor things at this point. I
was going to say, so Don Cheadle has confirmed that his contract with Marvel has ended, but he implied he's going to renew. But so while we do that, so I don't want to get off of D23. I want to get off of the Marvel aspect of D23.
Okay.
Because we have Star Wars. So the big thing that has come out of D23 when it comes to Star Wars is we got another Andor trailer, which looked really good, and just makes me more excited for this show.
Cinematically, the show looks a lot better than Obi-Wan.
Oh yeah, definitely better cinematically.
Because, in retrospect, let's face the fact that the show does look a little cheap.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
this show does have a grander scale at the end of the day, because it deals with like the initial stages of the rebellion.
Mm-hmm.
So, and while Obi-Wan was more like of a self-contained storyline containing just one character, it'll be a lot grander, I feel.
Yeah.
No diss to Obi-Wan. I mean, let's just face it here. The only good part of it was the ending.
Fair. So, other things that we got. Bad Batch Season 2 will be coming out January 4th, 2023. Tales of the Jedi finally got an official trailer, and it looks to be a 6-part series, with half of it being Dooku with Qui-Gon Jinn, back when Dooku was a master in the Jedi Order, and the other is Anakin training Ahsoka, I believe, halfway through the Clone Wars. So once again, I must reiterate, watch Clone Wars.
The more you yell it, the more hesitant I become.
You have to, because it's now getting to be more and more shows are tying into it. On top of that...
I'm already experiencing Marvel fatigue. Don't influence my Star Wars fatigue anymore.
Except the difference is that Star Wars The Clone Wars is good.
You say this about all the Disney Plus shows.
I did not think that... Listen, my standards for Disney Plus Marvel shows are lower than my standards for the Clone Wars. I hold the Clone Wars at a high standard. I've learned to lower my expectations for Marvel to enjoy them for what they are. But Star Wars The Clone Wars is good because it's actually legitimately good storytelling.
Moving on.
So, yeah, so they announced Tales for the Jedi. They also showed some stuff for the Ahsoka show, which should be exciting. We also got a teaser trailer for Mandalorian season. Really excited for this one. Because this is the main... If this is the era that is supposed to tie in the original trilogy with the sequel trilogy, this is the main show for it. The Mandalorian.
Yeah. It's a shame that you have to watch Book of Boba Fett, an objectively bad show, to be caught up on Mandalorian Season 3.
Yeah.
Which... Oh, God.
Doesn't he get the Naboo Starfighter in Book of Boba Fett?
Yeah.
Yeah. Which is pretty big because it's front and center in the Season 3 of The Mandalorian.
Yeah, like, they put an effort to show it off in the trailer.
Yeah. Note that the R5 unit is now in the astromech section of the Starfighter, while Grogu now sits in Din's lap.
Yeah.
Mind you, that R5 unit is the same one from A New Hope that nearly got picked over R2. And in Legends, that droid, Skippy the Jedi droid. Yes, you heard me, it's a Jedi.
In one ear, out the other. I'm sorry.
So, that's really interesting. We get to see Mandalore post getting absolutely fucking glassed by Moff Gideon back during the Galactic Civil War. So, it should be really interesting. But we also get to see Bo-Katan presumably sitting not in Mandalore, but at her castle, probably on Concordia or Concord Dawn. And we also get to see other members of Mandalorians, presumably ones not affiliated with Death Watch. And when I say Death Watch, I mean the Death Watch organization run by Pre Vizsla, Death Watch run by Maul, Night Owls, which was a subsect of Death Watch, and the Cult of the Watch, which was another subset of Death Watch. So, yeah. We also apparently will get a confrontation between the Armorer and Bo-Katan because she straight up says, "Your cult is what led us to ruins." So now we're going to get some stuff about the Armorer. Yeah. And we're mainly going to figure out why the Cult of the Watch broke off from Death Watch. Because we know why the Night Owls broke off from Death Watch. They rebelled against Maul taking over the organization after he beat Pre Vizsla in ritual combat. So, that should be really interesting. Very colorful armor. I really hope we see Sabine in it. Because, I mean, technically, she should be the real Mandalore. And when I say Mandalore, I mean, like, Mandalore, the title.
Yeah.
Which is, she should be the true ruler of Mandalore, as she is the last person to technically win it fairly in ritual combat, as she beat Gar Saxon in ritual combat to win the Darksaber. So, if you know how the Darksaber works, it's like the Elder Wand from Harry Potter. Started with Tar Vizsla, went down Clan Vizsla. Maul beat Pre Vizsla in combat for it. Then Maul resigned from being the head of Mandalore, so there was open. So Sabine stole it. Not that it really mattered, because it was up for debate whether Maul even deserved the Darksaber. So she stole it. Gar Saxon beat her in a fight, took it. So then she beat him back in a fight, and now she has the Darksaber. But she gave it to Bo-Katan, which we find out was bad. Because now look where she is. So I really hope she shows up, because the plot of the Darksaber is going to be
Yeah, I figured just as much.
I feel like the plot of the Darksaber and the Mandalorian Civil War number 792, it will be a main aspect of it. The amount of Mandalorian Civil Wars that have happened, both in Legends and canons, is innumerable. These people fight all the fucking time.
Yeah.
And the only other thing I've heard out of the Star Wars aspect of D23 was that Jude Law, who played Yon-Rogg in Captain Marvel, he has confirmed that Skeleton Crew, which is the other show out alongside the Acolyte that we know the least about that's coming out, is still in production. So... Oh yeah, we also got some stuff about the Ahsoka show. Rosario Dawson looks amazing, and I'm really happy that she seems to be having a good time with Ahsoka. I hope she returns in Daredevil Born Again.
Oh, right.
I mean, she was Night Nurse.
Yeah.
And now
you kind of forget how big of a role she has in the Defenderverse.
Yeah. So, we will see. But I believe... So, there were other things at 23. They announced Hocus Pocus 2, which...
We got a trailer for Little Mermaid, which of course sparked a bunch of controversy, which we will not address because if you know, you know.
Did you mean the AI one? The AI controversy?
No. Just the fact that she got cast by Halle Bailey.
Yeah, she got cast by Halle Bailey, but there was a right-winger who did the AI art that changed the trailer to be a white woman.
Oh, I did post and it got yeeted off of the internet like that.
Yeah. Racists are gonna racist. The Quivering literally lost his fucking mind over it. And yeah, it was...
I mean...
It's gonna be a Disney live action remake. I expect it to be about as good as Aladdin.
Which,
I will say, the actress that plays Ursula, forgetting her name.
Is it Melissa McCarthy?
Yes, her.
Yeah.
I think she's too pretty.
I can see it.
I think she's too pretty. I think she's too pretty to play Ursula. Mind you, CGI can do wonders. But...
And also, she's probably going to be like 3 or 4 times the size of Ariel.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
that's all I want to talk about that because like it's just going to be another Disney remake. Yeah. We know how that line goes.
Yes.
Just make fun of people online and we can move on. Because let's just face it, we have no reason to care about that movie.
We are getting a Lion King prequel, Mufasa.
Please be animated?
I hope it's animated. The live action Lion King wasn't bad. It's Lion King.
It was
Lion King.
Yeah, I mean, I still would prefer the original. I actually haven't seen the live action remake. I've just been way too traumatized by the other remakes.
So this was actually a good live action remake. It was very true to the source material, good voice acting. I mean, CGI was kind of but I thought it was good.
Based on what I've heard, the biggest complaint was, of course, the lack of expressiveness from the animals.
Yeah.
That was what I heard ruined it for a lot of people, is that it just felt very stiff.
Yeah, I would say it feels stiff, but overall, in terms of getting the themes and the vibes of Lion King, yeah, it does it.
Yeah.
So, but I do hope this is animated, and I hope it's of the quality of the greatest Lion King movie, Lion King 1.5. That movie is the best Lion King movie.
No, that movie was objectively bad. The only thing carrying it were that the main characters were making jokes the entire time. Let's just face it.
No, Lion King 1.5 is the best Lion King movie. I will fight you on this. No, that is my favorite animated Disney movie of all time. I have watched that movie no less than 20 times.
Okay.
I love that movie.
You have to agree with me. Structurally, it's an awful movie. But
how? It's literally just what happened in the background of Lion King 1.
But movie is the fact that the two main characters are funny.
Yes.
That's the entire movie. That's all it is.
I mean,
that's all it is.
I mean, I like Timon's character arc that he went through in the movie. He did have a good character arc.
I mean, yeah. But you don't watch the movie because you care about side character 27.
Listen, Timon and Pumbaa got their show quite literally because of this movie. Anyways, if it can top Lion King 1.5, then I will love this movie to the day it dies. But I don't know. Lion King is kind of hard to fuck up. It is. Everything Lion King related is at least decent.
Yeah, considering that the sequel is like a straight to DVD release, that is actually one of the better ones.
Yeah. Lion King 2 is actually one of the better ones. The Timon and Pumbaa show was hilarious when I watched it. Lion King's kind of hard to fuck up. So I mean, even the live action version wasn't bad. It's Lion King. And have you seen the Broadway musical of Lion King?
I have not, though.
It's really good. I have actually seen the Lion King movie. Well, I've actually seen the Lion King musical on Broadway, and it's really good. So, yeah, it's kind of hard to fuck up Lion King.
Yeah.
So I really hope the Mufasa prequel is actually good. Lion King is actually probably one of my favorite of the Disney animated movies that's not Pixar. Yeah. It's like, I like Lion King. I think Lion King's really cool.
Yeah, I just feel like, I'm 10 years past caring.
Yeah. There's a new show called ABC, which is about American-born Chinese people. That's what ABC stands for. And so it will be tackling the struggles of, people of Chinese descent living in America.
That feels like a passion project.
It does.
It feels like, based on the description, it feels like Disney said, oh, we want to do something here. You take it. And whoever gained the reins to that project was like, this is my chance.
Yeah.
I'm going to make this a true representation of this particular group. So, you know what? It could probably be pretty good.
Yeah. What is her name? The actress who seems to be, like, one of the bigger names in it. Michelle Yeoh, who played, she's in a lot of things. But one thing you may remember her is she played Ying Nan in Shang-Chi.
I think she was also in Everything Everywhere All at Once
as
well.
That's what I was trying to remember. But she's also in other things. She's a very talented actress. She's been in many things. These are just the things I'm remembering off the top of my head.
Because, like, let's face it, when you cast Asian actress, 9 times out of 10 you choose her.
Yeah, either that or Ming-Na Wen.
That is true, yeah. Those two are pretty much, like, they fulfill that role. So, she's an easy pick.
I miss Jet Li. She was also a good actress.
Yeah.
But it sucks that Hollywood was, like, very racist towards her. But, she looks to be one of, like, the main people in ABC. So I hope it does well. It's probably not something I'm going to watch, but, I hope it does well.
Yep.
They finally showed off more of, what's it called? The Proud Family Louder and Prouder. So, please be good. Please don't fuck up the Proud Family. It was good. It was really good. It was probably one of the best. It was during the Black Renaissance of Disney, back when Disney just had a bunch of shows with black protagonists, with black families that were not really stereotypical. We had Fillmore, we had the Proud Family, we had That's So Raven, Corey in the House. Like, please don't fuck this up. This show was special for black people. Please don't fuck it up. Please.
Are we done with D23?
I am trying to remember if there was anything else worth bringing up. There was Hocus Pocus. There was there was Hocus Pocus. There's Peter Pan and Wendy. Which ever since I read Lost Girls by Alan Moore, Peter Pan has been ruined for me. You know what Lost Girls is, right?
I have a feeling.
Yeah, no, it was kind of ruined for me. Oh wow, they're making a Snow White movie.
Oh, that must be great. Please
With-
age up the protagonist.
Please do. For the love of Christ. It was problematic. It was problematic when she was like fucking 14 and the prince is like 25. Please age them up. There's a new Pixar movie called Elemental. I haven't seen Pixar movies lately, so I can't tell you. There's also a Pixar show called Win or Lose. Once again, haven't been keeping up with Pixar. And then there's Elio. Haven't been keeping up. Inside Out 2. That better be good, because Inside Out 1 was great.
Unironically, that is, like, my favorite Pixar film.
It's really good. Was Brave Pixar?
Yes, and Brave was really bad.
See. I am going to... Wait, Brave? Shit, no, I meant Tangled.
Oh no, Tangled was actually
No,
okay.
sorry. Not Brave.
I was about to say.
No. I was thinking Tangled. I was like, how dare you diss Rapunzel? No. Never mind. Tangled. Tangled is my favorite Disney princess movie of all time.
Thank God.
No. Not Brave. Sorry, fuck. I thought you meant Tangled and I was gonna fight you. Anyways, Zootopia Plus. Zootopia was alright. For what it was trying to accomplish, it went too hard into essentialism.
Yeah.
But not on purpose, but incidentally.
Just because I would say they just oversimplified the conflict.
Yeah, I feel like if they were to give themselves, like, more time to, like, refine it, they probably could have done something better. So, yeah. Oh my god, Indiana Jones 5?!
That's been in the works for a while now.
God damn! So Harrison Ford still wants to milk this franchise!
He wants a second good movie. Let him have a second good movie, please.
You mean a fourth good movie? Wait. What? Why is this... Why do they describe Loki Season 2 as Incest Town? I'm gonna skip that. I don't want to know. I don't want to know. Oh yeah, Avatar: The Way of Water. Don't give a fuck. I didn't like Avatar. It was just a very, very, very long and expensive tech demo.
It looked very pretty in 2009, and that's why everyone likes it.
Yes, more Muppet stuff. High School Musical is returning. So,
it's a season 4. It's been
Yeah.
it's been a thing.
No, I'm saying it's returning.
That's season 4.
Yeah, no, There's been a gap. There's been a gap.
Well, I don't care.
Yeah, Percy Jackson and the Olympians.
Great.
I actually watched the first Percy Jackson recently, and it's not bad. I actually kind of like it.
Oh yeah, live action Pinocchio. Didn't it just came out and people are like crapping on that movie?
The only Pinocchio movie that's live action that I want to watch is Pinocchio's Revenge. If you've ever seen that, it's probably one of the worst horror movies you will ever watch. It's hilariously bad. And, yeah, that's pretty much everything that I care. That Raven's Home was also greenlit for season 2. And for those who don't know, Raven's Home is the That's So Raven spinoff. No, I have not watched it.
I think that's pretty much everything, because pretty much just the end was just us rambling about
Yeah.
minor things.
Yeah, just... Of the rambles, please don't fuck up Mufasa. That's all I really care about. Out of all of the miscellaneous things that they've announced, the thing that I feel like I would actually watch, not just for the podcast, but for personal gain, would be Mufasa. Oh, and Inside Out 2. I'd probably watch that as well.
Anyway, let's go ahead and move on, because we have neglected to review She-Hulk, and
we got 3 episodes of She-Hulk to review. And in my opinion, they get better as time goes on. I feel episode 2 was weak. I felt episode 3 was better. And I felt episode 4 was better.
And this is where we differ greatly, because here's how I feel about these episodes. Episode 1, it was a great introduction.
Oh yeah, no. Episode 1, I think episode 1 is like the second best episode in my opinion.
No, for me it's the best. But episode 1, it's enticing, but not all the way. So it's like, yeah, you give us the premise of the show. It's great, cool, whatever. Episode 2, for me, I mean, it sets up at what the plot's gonna contain in the future episodes really well.
Yeah,
but it's not that enticing. Episode 3.
The best thing about episode 2 that we got was knowing that Wolverine exists.
Did we?
So there is a blink and you miss it. When Jen is on her laptop, she's about to look things up about Abomination before, it's like, I think it's right before the ending, before like Holloway tells her to like look at the TV. You look down and there's 2 articles, and one is, why is there a giant statue of a man in the Arctic Ocean, referencing Eternals?
Yeah.
But the other is, man with claws gets in bar fight. Which, if you know anything about Wolverine, he fights in bars with his claws. So that's pretty much actually our first reference to Wolverine.
Sabretooth really want to be disingenuous.
Yes. Anyways, it's probably Wolverine.
But so
what else happened in episode 2? I kind of forgot, to be honest.
Episode 2 was pretty much the establishing of, she's got to work her job as a Hulk, and and pretty much the establishment of the Emil Blonsky parole case. Episode 3, I am sorry, that episode was dog water.
See, I thought episode 3 was good because it showed off a lot of things. One, we got to see Blonsky. Blonsky got to play a bit of the prison stereotypes, like he's.
I guess.
Yo, you don't.
Oh wait, you mean like stand them online type?
Oh, you sweet innocent child. You don't know about the women that fall and like marry them in prison and like have sex with them and like are legitimately like in love and like write love letters. Oh, you poor child. That's what the Blonsky thing is a parody of. It's a parody of the fact who, after their crimes have been committed and they're in prison, there's like a subsect of women that will just start standing them. But they'll go farther than standing. They'll be like fangirls and groupies and be like, I'm in love with him, and they write letters and they send Polaroid nudes to them through the mail.
Okay, I'm a little more familiar now that you describe it. See, that felt like a very one-off joke, and
that's what the seven soulmates are parodying in this.
See, for me, when it was introduced, it was like, I feel like it's doing something here. I'm just not for it. It wasn't that funny to me.
It's a parody of that, which I kind of the part that I found funny was when he's like, my better eighths. I did find that funny.
Yeah. But for me, episode 3 is just not enticing. Like, it doesn't hook me at all. And the thing is that the case that was funnier for me was not the Emil Blonsky case.
Well, in my opinion, I feel the case that was funny was supposed to be funny, which was the what's the elf's name?
I forget.
So basically, the funny thing was, so our sexist asshole guy